There's three levels of an economic downturn. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome into the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, thanks so much for checking in today. I hope you're all doing great. What a crazy world we live in, right? Oh my gosh, stock market up, down. It's like a yo-yo. Health pandemic, who knows what's coming next? Real estate market completely in just, the biggest bubble ever recorded in history. I could just go on and on and on. It's just really incredible to me as an active real estate agent, as a real estate investor, as an American just trying to make sense of this. And I know a lot of my viewers from all around the world. We have a massive amount of people from UK, Canada, Australia in this channel. Please, folks, jump into the comment section below. There's some amazing conversations taking place in the channel. I probably have one of the most active chat boards on YouTube in this space. So welcome to everybody. I know everybody is experiencing some significant volatility in the markets, and with real estate leading the charge. Like I've always said, and it's the truth is, if the real estate market fails, everything fails. In the last recession that we saw of '08, that's exactly what happened. The real estate market failed, then jobs went away, stock market went away, everything went away. Today's world is much different than the last bubble. That's why I continue to sound the alarm and just really try to wake people up to the fact that we are at a heavy downturn risk. And there's three levels of an economic downturn. There's a correction, a recession, or a full-blown depression. And those are the three levels of an economic downturn that we can expect, that we can look at. And one of the things we have to understand, folks, is that right now is a very important time to really just pay attention to some of the things that happened in the past, because it's going to help us maybe prepare ourselves for what's coming in the future. And like we've talked about before, folks, everything was stemmed from the pandemic and the government stimulus programs. We've overheated all the markets due to stimulus and stimulus spending. Like the government has doubled the amount of money in circulation in the form of stimulus within the last 12 months. You can't double the amount of money in circulation in 12 months and not expect to deal what we're dealing with right now, which is inflation going through the roof, supply chains broken, people afraid to go out of their homes, people not wanting to go back to work, political and division just across the board. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Like I've said before, there is a perfect storm right now that could absolutely collapse the markets at a global scale. And one of the things that we're seeing right now, folks, and a lot of my viewers are very aware of what the stock market is, which is going to also be a key component of today's conversation, is what's happened currently is the markets are completely reliant on whatever trending headline is going on in society. And that is dangerous when our markets now can be moved by a trending headline the way they are now because of the digital diet that we are currently on, folks. It has never, ever been, in the pandemic, just pretty much poured gasoline on this fire in terms of people are buried in their devices. I constantly see people like this constantly like this, and it's insane. Like people don't even have conversations anymore. This is a complete new digital AI world we live in, and we've taken the human component out of so many aspects of our life that it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. So folks, what we're going to look at today, and I really encourage you to jump into the comments, because I know I have so many smart people that are a part of this channel. Like, it's amazing. There's some really, really sharp people, and I jump into the comments and chat with a lot of you guys. It's been amazing. But like I said, three levels of an economic downturn: a correction being the least severe, a recession being about the middle of the road, and a full-blown depression is going to be the worst. And right now, what we're seeing, everything needed to produce any one of those things is in play. And one of the things we have to understand, folks, is that history shows that every 100 years we get into depressionary situations with the economy. And if you do that math, the last Great Depression was in the late 20s, the Great Depression. And now we're right there. We're about 100 years from that. And it's not, doesn't mean it's going to happen on exactly 100 years. This could happen tomorrow. And what we really need to do is look at what are some of the things that happened in the last depression that are happening today, so we can understand that this is a realistic issue that we have to look at, folks. And I personally believe that it'll take a miracle to keep us from visiting a depression. Like I said, it's just the amount of money in circulation, inflation, job market, social unrest, civil unrest, polarized political issues, big government, mainstream media, fake news, you name it. It is all so insane right now. And like you've all heard me say, we need about a year for the fiscal cliffs that ended in the form of mortgage forbearance, eviction bans, foreclosure bans, and unemployment benefits ended just here recently. It'll take a year for these things to play out and the blowback to occur. But what we're seeing now is that we're one trending headline away from affecting the market in a big way. We're seeing the stock market respond to many things right now, and it's insanity. It is insanity what can tip the market. So in the Great Depression, it was a stock market crash. It was the Wall Street crash, stock market crash, and it was like a falling knife. It was like trying to catch a knife. People were scrambling to get their money out of the markets, and we've already seen big time people like the owner of Amazon, the owner of Tesla, selling off their own stocks in big ways, billions of dollars of their own stocks. Well, why? Well, of course, they're trying to insulate themselves from a crash. We've all heard the warnings of a stock market crash, yet we continue to see people bullish in the stock market pouring in. We all know we're in a real estate bubble, yet people continue to buy in at the height. This is all echoing what echoed in the last economic downturns. But today, like I said, I want to look at the Great Depression. And what we saw in the Great Depression was this, folks. Tons of people leading up to the crash entering the stock market. Everyday middle class people entered the stock market using it like a casino. That is I hope you understand that. That's what caused the last stock market crash of the Great Depression. And just like in the last housing bubble, the lending practices, loose lending practices created that bubble. Well, back in the Great Depression, it was people entering the stock market, everyday people that had no idea what they were doing. They were just buying into the stock market because you couldn't lose. It was basically casino style investing. And what are we seeing today? The same exact thing. We have put all this money into circulation, sent out checks to every household in America, and then given them Webull or Robinhood on their phones to start entering the stock market. We had a bunch of new investors enter the stock market that have no idea how to invest. They're just basically stock picking blindly, like a casino again. It's the same exact thing. So that's number one of what we're seeing, folks. What we can look to, the Great Depression of the 20s, the stock market crash was because everyday people started entering the stock market. We saw that again through the pandemic. People stuck at home, had a little extra money. It's the latest conversation. I reported on it before. I can't even go anywhere these days without talking about the stock market and what stocks are you in and this and that. Now, personally, I've dumped all my stocks. I'm only in ETFs for the most part. Any stocks that I bought, some of them is just because I wanted to own a share so I could watch them fail. Like, just buy cheap stocks. I'm a real estate guy. I like real estate, and that's my goal, is to help you achieve wealth in real estate. And I know if one of the things I have to do is get you safe and on the sidelines possibly at this time. So the other thing we saw in the Great Depression is the buy now, pay later era was born. Back in the 20s, nobody owned cars, only the rich people owned cars. But then buy now, pay later, and every 1 in 5 homes added cars to their driveways with buy now, pay later. Well, what are we seeing now? EV. EV is in the same exact thing with buy now, pay later. As a real estate agent, I'm out and about constantly looking at property. I'm driving by apartment buildings with Teslas. Apartment buildings, lower class, with Teslas in the driveway. Teslas used to be reserved for rich and the wealthy, but now you're seeing them in apartment complexes. They don't even have a charging station. They're having to put charging stations all around cities so these people can charge their cars and wait for however long it takes to charge them, a long time. And it's insanity. So we're seeing, again, echoing of the Great Depression where people are adding cars to their driveways. Now we're seeing it again with EV, people adding cars buy now, pay later, and it's echoing the same thing again. Folks, wake up, smell the coffee. This is serious right now. We are at a serious crash risk. And, I'm probably preaching to the choir and all this, but a lot of these things, maybe because of our short or long-term memory loss, we don't understand these things. We don't understand these things, folks. Today, we are seeing so much volatility in the markets that it would take a miracle to save this one. But in final thoughts, folks, in final thoughts today, again, as I sound the alarm, as I ring the bell, as I wake many people up to understand that this market is completely artificial, created through stimulus and in euphoria, with euphoria and get rich quick mentality. Now is the time to play it safe. Now is the time to adopt, earn your wealth, goal-oriented, no free handout mentality. You're gonna have to shrink back. You're gonna have to save some cash. You're gonna have to be ready, because when I take you out to invest in properties, minimum amounts down will not get it done. You're gonna need to come in with swinging like 50% down on properties to scoop them up and compete with Wall Street. Because if you come in with 50% down, banks are going to lend to you much quicker. You're going to get a better interest rate. You're going to be able to strike and compete with Wall Street, but you're not going to be able to do that with minimum amounts down. Listen, folks, the world is changing that we're living in. I have no crystal ball. I can't guarantee what's going on, but what I can tell you is something doesn't pass the smell test on this one. So there is something bigger, and the alarming part of it, to my beautiful viewers from Canada, UK, Australia, you name it, any big economy around the world, they're going through the same thing. And China's biggest real estate developers, not just Evergrande, all of them now are defaulting. China, the second biggest economy in the world, their real estate market is starting to fail. Zillow fail, Opendoor fail, Redfin fail. We're having these things here, yet people continue to just not understand the severity of what we're going through right now. So folks, as I leave you today, as a friend, as a content creator, as an influencer, I really want to continue to just share my thoughts with this, because I know there has to be two sides to every coin. And if you're listening to the coin that says, come invest with me, come join my real estate course, come, watch my live streams, get notifications of my buy sell alerts, you're setting yourself up to fail. These people possibly are going to walk you into a firestorm. These are the people that will get hit the hardest. Safe money wins right now. The great Warren Buffett: be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. And right now, greed is what you're seeing at a lot of those channels. So if you appreciate the content, please do me a favor, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the comments below. I can't wait to talk to you. Go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.